So the Americans have their own dilemma. The Trump dilemma is what I saw yesterday. The speech, inaugural speech about a process that makes sense. Canada can disagree with the fact that we should sit down and look at what the trade relationship is. We welcome that. And then later in the day, the 1st of February, and a 25% tariff. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't jive. And I think it speaks to a dilemma of the Trump administration of either pursuing a growth agenda or the tariff agenda. And the tariff agenda is the contrary of economic growth. So there's a lot of work to be done. We're very flattered, all of us, to be part of any work that we can do to support our country.
Thank you. Jillian Piper with Global News. Mr. Charest, you're a businessman. I'd like to ask you this question. The Bank of Canada is estimating that if Canada places matching tariffs on the U.S., that the Canadian GDP will go down by 6% and that the loonie will go down by 25%. How devastating do you think this will be for the Canadian economy?
Well, the more recent study I saw was a 2.6% reduction in GDP if it's a 25% tariff scenario. Also a 1.6 reduction in American U.S. GDP if that were the case. So the sum total of all this is that we're all going to suffer. It just doesn't make sense. So let's move to the real question. What is it that the American administration, this administration, wants? What is it that they need? What does Canada have that the Americans need and want, and that where they can't easily find any substitutes? And then we can have a good discussion, and that'll meet our respective interests. All other scenarios, I mean, the Bank of Canada will be meeting on the 29th of January. We'll see what their policy will be. Inflation today came down a bit lower than what they we're anticipating at 1.8%. American inflation's at 2.9%. So, there's still a debate in the United States of what they're going to do with their own interest rates, and that we know will be of great interest. Now, interestingly enough, both federal banks, both central banks will be meeting on the same days and delivering decisions on interest rates on January 29th. Stay tuned.